You're Perp back with another video, and I just got done watching Twilight of the Gods. This is a new animated series brought to you by Zack Snyder. You know, Zack Snyder hasn't had the best run, with the DC stuff. That's been getting kind of like really messy, and he tries to do his thing with Rebel Moon. Complete failure. But this, I was kind of interested in, even though when I first initially saw the trailer, I was like, this reminds me of Blood of Zeus, just not as well animated. Instead of talking about Greek mythology, they're talking about Norse mythology. So I'm not too familiar with a lot of Norse mythology outside of Thor, Loki, and Odin. This goes really deep with a lot of different lore that I just was kind of overwhelmed with, once the show started to get going. But pretty much what you have here is Sigrid right here in the center with the red hair. She is this character that comes from giants. She has giant blood in her, and she's also about to get married to this King Leif. And King Leif is interesting because the series starts off with him talking about Sigrid and how they met and how they just kind of fell in love. But Thor kind of fucks all that up for them because he's on a rampage looking for Loki, and he pretty much takes out his frustration on her family. Literally just kills everybody. This version of Thor is probably the most unhinged, savage version. Just picture Thor just as a complete villain. Loki's a villain in this in his own right, but Thor and Odin are absolutely with the shits in here. Like, there's people just being exploded. In the first episode, Thor phases through this guy. I don't know how the fuck he did it, but that was probably one of the highlights for me of this series. Like, this has a lot of really good action set pieces and sequences and whatnot. A lot of cool visuals. Some of the animation is a little wonky at times. It's not as polished or as clean as it could be. Obviously there's, you see where they kind of want to put the budget behind this. But anyways, this happens. Thor kills Sigrid's whole entire family, but kind of leaves her by herself. She ends up making a deal with Loki, going to Hell, meeting Hell with the one L. That's Loki's daughter. And pretty much working with Loki, not knowing that Loki already has kind of his own plan going on and why he wants to get rid of Thor. Which, at first, when I thought about it, it's like, Loki's the reason why your whole family just got massacred in the first place, and you want to work with him. But I guess it's your enemy if my enemy is my friend type of deal. I don't know. It was kind of bizarre, but I still kind of like the team up. She was able to kind of get this kind of power boost. They all get these like sacred weapons or these cursed weapons. She gets this like ragtag group together. Her close friend, Horvor, she's like this warrior chick. They have this witch chick that is super OP, has some really cool magical abilities. My least favorite character is Aegil, and you'll see why. And just his whole introduction is just so out of pocket. There's a lot of out of pocket shit in this that I really expected from Zack Snyder. Like, this is a very graphic as far as not only violence, blood, but in the sexual nature. Like, you're going to see a lot of you're going to see a lot of penises in this, bro, and just a lot of actual penetration, which is kind of crazy. I was like, this was damn near borderline a hentai. All it was missing was the tentacle monsters. But going back to some of the other characters that kind of join along, is this elf that is also a forger that kind of helps them get their weapons and whatnot. There's this like wolf man guy that turns into a fucking werewolf, which was really fucking cool. That was a really dope sequence. So as far as the action goes, I'm pleased. What I'm saying, like I speak highly of it. I think the animation definitely can improve. I think the story is stronger in the first half than it is in the second half, because there's somewhere in the middle where they were kind of just dropping a lot of information, and it's a lot to kind of try to digest, where they could have just kind of spread it out better. Or maybe just because they had 8 episodes, they felt like they had to kind of cram a lot of information, a lot of like backstories with certain characters at last moments, or just a lot of information. And there's a lot of things that are kind of spoken in riddle as well. So that, I don't know, that might lose people, because this show goes really fucking crazy, like balls to the wall. That last fucking episode is just insane, where it's just this all-out war, where Sigrid finally gets her revenge, or finally gets the clash with Thor, and just Loki ends up joining the fight as well to kind of get his revenge, because his whole thing with Thor is one of his daughters, or somebody that he loves very dearly, is killed by Thor, and this kind of sets this whole rift between them, and that's why he wants to kind of use Sigrid to get his revenge. And he's also kind of plotting and doing his own kind of scheming, which I don't know how she didn't see that coming. Like, it's Loki, the god of mischief and, you know, lies and whatnot, and that he's the best part of this, aside from Thor. You know what I'm saying? Those two characters are easily the best characters of this series. Watching Sigrid and Leif's whole relationship, though, was kind of frustrating, and it just didn't kind of make sense, because it's a lot of flip-flopping. Like, he stands with her no matter what, even though he's like upset that she's taking revenge this far, and it's kind of clouding her judgment. It kind of plays into the whole thing that Loki is kind of doing. He's manipulating both characters in his own way, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, y'all are doing way too much, and them ending having this threesome. It's just a lot of fucking going on, you know what I'm saying? It's like argument, fuck, and then, you know what I'm saying? It's very bizarre, but how it all kind of comes together at the end, I feel like is a pretty satisfying ending, even though I will say it's just a lot of information in between all of that, from where you start this series to where the first season ends. They could have just done a better job of pacing that out to kind of making you care a little bit more about these characters, because some of the characters were interesting, but their backstories and just how they explained certain things just felt very rushed. And then when they met their demise, whether it be Hervor, or, you know what I'm saying, her whole, she wants to meet her sons in Valhalla, but she's using these cursed weapons, so she's destined to go to hell. And also every weapon has a different fate for its user, which is cool. Like I said, the lore is interesting. I just feel like, I'll say it again, it's just, I think it should have been paced better. You know what I'm saying? And it definitely seems like how this ends with Sigrid ended up dying and going to Valhalla with Thor. So that's going to be interesting. Are they going to be able to get out of Valhalla, or where is the story going to go next? Are they going to team up to go after Loki? I don't know, man. It's just, there's things I like about this series, and then there's things that it's just like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think there's some really over-the-top shit that was really unnecessary. That's just me, little nitpicks here and there. The voice acting could have been a little bit better with Sigrid. I feel like Sigrid's voice acting was just very one note until like the last episode. Overall, if you are a fan of Zack Snyder and just all of his work, you're going to love this. If you are just on the type of person that's on the fence with a lot of Zack Snyder's thing, I will say give this a chance and see where you land with it, because I definitely think this is better than Rebel Moon by a long shot. It definitely has a lot of room for improvement as far as animation and just story structure and just character arcs and whatnot. I think if you're a huge fan of Norse mythology, this will be right up your alley. Me, like, I not too familiar, like not too in depth with just the whole scope of how deep Norse mythology goes, and just all the different creatures and characters and just different things that come out of that mythology. It's interesting how they cram all of that in 8 episodes, and just a lot of interesting world building. You know, a lot to like, a lot to kind of just be like, that just didn't really work for me. But if you get around to checking this out, let me know your thoughts of it. I will recommend checking it out at least to see if it's something that you will enjoy. Like I said, it's very violent, very sexual, and you know what I'm saying, it has a lot of heavy lore. So that's just my thoughts on Twilights of the Gods. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments below. Till next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.